Hello!
Hello, everybody. Welcome to No Thoughts, Only Vibes stream.
They're good vibes, which is good.
Very good vibes. Hey, I'm literally harassing you on Twitter right now.
Squad's all here.
What's new, girls? That's what I'm saying. That's how I say hello. I'm harassing you on Twitter right now. Right. How did my presentation go? My presentation went very well. Thank you for asking.
Hell yeah.
It was very dense.
Oh dear.
But I didn't talk ridiculously quickly, which is always the thing I'm fighting. You decided to drop him when you started today instead of when you finished. Honestly, I would argue a better time slot. We're less quiet. Oh god, my fucking Google Drive settings are all mixed up from where I had... Oh no. I had my script notes on my Google Drive and I had it zoomed in all the way, so now I open any other one, Google Doc, and it's like, oh, you want to be zoomed in this much? I'm like, no! Because at work tonight, fair.
Time for warm-up circles. Oh, interesting. That's not the preset I normally use.
Refreshes, so I might be very hyper for the rest of the stream. I'm so sad that I missed Frog doing Dom Meg. I'm so sad.
If you say so.
It's Frog doing a dungeon full of frogs.
Oh! Well then, yeah.
We'll run it again, but it's not the same. I've run Dom Meg a million times, but running it with Frog is different.
That's better. That's more like it. My resolution was screwy. Ah yes, the downside of pugs.
What were we playing, Dash, if we didn't tank? the tank queue was super long? This is DPS? I guess at that point you're in kind of like the 80 to 90 territory, and you run into expert queue problem. It took 10 minutes and nothing. That makes sense. You just heal it insta, that makes sense.
Ah.
Yeah, queuing is healer, that makes sense. It's like, healer and tank super long? That's unusual. It's usually one or the other. Only exception sometimes is expert queue, because up-to-date players tend to play tank and healer. Health check. We just started.
Cool. Get one in early. Save. I got nothing to save, Core. This is a warm-up.
Yeah, we just started.
DPS and
DPS.
tank, right.
Okay. Yeah, I've been craving Final Fantasy, actually. I have to try and get some hours in this week, I think.
Same.
Playing Elden Ring, which is a lot of fun. My Final Fantasy hyperfixation is such that I can't be away for too long. The first game I've played in like a year that wasn't Final Fantasy. So my instinct is always just...
Oh, the patch is going to be out next month, isn't it?
Patch is out in like a couple weeks, yeah.
Meanwhile, the event is still running.
Event. I need to do the event. I haven't actually done any of it. I think I got some just from like doing one thing.
I can always be suitably distracted by event.
Yeah, for sure.
I've been getting into the habit over the last week or so because I quite enjoy doing the work I'm doing in a Discord channel with the guy I'm working with. But he isn't always around until like sort of after midday. So basically, if I get myself up early enough, I'll actually do like a prey run in the morning, and then after midday is reached, that's right. Okay, work until literally it's time to make dinner. And then at that point, with most evenings, it's like, well, I don't play D&D, so I don't have time to play video games.
Yeah, that's true.
So I cram my Final Fantasy in the morning.
Honestly, that's how I got through the end of Endwalker.
I have been doing well, though. I have the wolf, hairband, and a bird. So I only need one more. I only need one more bird, and then at that point, I'm happy to chill. Also, my rogue is almost 60, solely through doing prey runs.
Yeah, that makes sense. So we're gonna go to school at some point on Elden Ring, get you some new clothes from Renala. I do need to do the academy. That's true. Said she's waiting on people for Shadow's Dungeon. That would probably be a good idea because I think getting into some spicy ones from here. Hello!
Hello, friend. How is it going? It feels like it's been a while.
Wow.
Been a while. Busy, busy. We love to see it. How are you two? I think we're both doing well, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, we're doing good today.
Yeah.
I'm a little dazed because I've had a very anxious day, even though it's a very good day. So I've now got that post-anxiety, like, belly.
Mine was kind of the same, but mine was different anxiety. But I also had anxiety that was then, and it was really nice.
Yeah. want to not finish this zone without us, will probably be a good idea, because trying to do the thing you have to queue for at the end of the zone without at least 2 friendly people is...
So that's the thing, I've been doing event, haven't touched story in months still.
Yeah, you haven't been on the story run for a while.
Once...
It was probably, if you were going to take a massive pause in the story, it's probably the place to do it.
Yeah.
Because the end of Stormblood is a lot, and then from Stormblood onwards, it's just madness.
Yeah, I'm somewhat aware of that.
But
Like,
Elden Ring checks give some memes, not when I'm live.
We'll see how my Final Fantasy fixation feels once the event is over, or once I have literally everything I could possibly want. Because as always happens, I was drawn in by the promise of mounts.
Very true.
I got one bird.
I only need one, and I need to grab that, I think. I can't remember if it's a bird or a wolf that I need.
Well, the wolf is most expensive, so most people go for the wolf first.
Yeah, I think wolf's the one I need.
You've already got one or both of the birds?
I have both birds. And the 2 birds that I have are the 2 that are in the event.
See, I have the one of the birds from this event, but I got one of the birds from the last event, which was the purple Nidhogg bird. So
the Nidhogg bird, I have that one too.
So I'll have the 3 if I get all of them.
Whereas
3. With the wolves, I'm already at like freaking 6, and I haven't reached
you haven't finished
Stormblood
yet. You have mounts that drop from extreme versions of bosses you haven't done.
I've done one of them. Because I did the Kojin dude.
Frog.
Hello, Frog.
Probably my favourite trial, Horde Tribute.
I remember you saying when we did it.
So much fun. The trial set and music, like, it's so much fun. To lie and say you can get mounts and Shadowbringers dungos, you do though. Dragons. As the tank, it's the best trial, yeah. It's fun. It's fun to tank. It's a rare one when I'm like, I want to tank this. Because I hate tanking trials. Hate it. Tank anything else, just not trials. I feel like when I'm tanking a trial, it has consequences. That's funny to say when you're one tank in a dungeon. Like, if I'm tanking a dungeon, I know what I'm doing at least.
Yeah, there's not going to be some funky, like, off-tank mechanics.
Yeah, but to be honest, I literally cannot think of a boss in this game where the off-tank has mechanics to do. Like, I literally can't think of one. And I've done some content in this game. Like, that fear is entirely unfounded. It is one I have nonetheless.
I mean, that fear is straight up the reason that I don't play tanks and or healers, because I'm just like, consequences? Hell no.
Off tank is exclusively the main tank died, take over while we res them. Yeah, literally that's it.
As a DPS, the worst thing you can do is die, and most people expect you to die. So DPS, I'm
as
just
a healer main, this is true.
DPS, I'm just like, it's fine.
As a healer main, I expect nothing of the DPS.
Good. I want no expectations. I come to these games to relax. I do not want pressure and anxiety, so I do not tank and I do not heal.
I find healing relaxing in a fucked up way.
I do not.
Tanking is relaxing if I've done that dungeon before. I've done a dungeon a million times. I can literally empty it. When I hit tank leveling queue and I get like a 90 dungeon, I'm like, oh fuck. I don't know this yet. I don't want anything expected of me. Blue Sky will find 2022.
Yep. that can 100% go on my grave.
I'm under strict orders not to do Shadowbringer dungos without the FC. Yeah, but more or less, yeah. Shadowbringer dungos are so good. To be honest, like, Shadowbringers and Endwalker, there's, like, net less dungeons and especially trials. Holy shit, there's so few trials in Endwalker and Shadowbringers, actually. So few. All of them are so good. The quality just... There's like... How many trials are there? Core Shadowbringers, like 3 or 4? 3 in Endwalker. It's a good time. A good time. Yeah, I definitely have the edge. The more I'm talking about it, the more I have the edge. Having you to play Final Fantasy.
That's the thing. I think when you talk about FF, it definitely does give you that urge of like, well, now I want to play.
Yeah. Why it's contagious.
Well, hey, as
Quality
I said, if you're up early enough in the morning, you might be able to catch me doing morning runs.
When am I ever?
This is the problem.
I'm only up early enough in the morning if you are physically in the presence of me and you wake me.
This is true.
Have you heard? Girls, we played Elden Ring the other day pretty early in the morning. Yeah, but that wasn't a consequence of our good decisions, okay?
It doesn't count if you're approaching it from the other end.
In my defense, I had slept, but it was just not well. We were playing at like from 7:30 till 9 or 10. I had been up since 4. And Kay had just woken up.
Oh god. I'm trying to think how many stones I had left over after I brought the last bird. I think it was like 12, so I still need to do like at least 2 runs to get the last bird.
You have to get all the way up to the big boy, so... And I've got 10. Every time you guys run them, I'm busy. But now I'm on the other side of midterms.
Yeah. And they said the only time, ironically, that I have free is in the mornings, because most of my evenings are spent with you lovely people. We also want to do that. Unless what you're saying is because you don't want to run D&D this week because you want to play Final Fantasy.
Mean.
It's not, she didn't say no.
No, I didn't. I'm very sad we can't play together and I'm having issues connecting to Naren, yeah. It's fine, I've got Kay to carry me. Although we did get our ass beat by a snail. It was humbling.
Yeah, FromSoft games are good at that.
It was my respite was but fleeting. I must pray return to work. Goodbye, Kay. Yeah, we went into Kay's world and did it, and Kay just stomped it. And we came back to my world, and because everything he gets scaled down to me, he just kicked her ass. Okay.
CK,
thanks
for
we play
dropping
our
by.
FF characters. I have thought about this before. I have there's a Final Fantasy 14 5e that I have. Own it. But it's easy enough to kind of, you could even just do it normally. Like,
yeah, you just literally just be
Twilight
like...
Cleric is not a bad match for Astro.
Yeah. I mean, I think I've said this before, but Tian is basically spec'd as to how I would probably spec Exa. He's a spear wielding battle maneuver. He's all about movement. He basically
before I made her,
before
I made her ranged, we joked that Posey was a red mage, right?
Yeah, that's true. Hey, Ixie!
Hello, Ixie. Welcome.
Exie, I love the pictures of you and me from last night. I need yours.
Oh, these are the ones you were talking about earlier?
Yeah, some of them. Not quite the same ones, but from the same batch. I have 2 photos of me and Exie in VR chat, and they're so peak me.
A peak just blue photo.
Which is literally me just sliding up to Exie with this massive grin on my face.
That is pretty peak you. Oh, Blue, I just realized we could probably finish Fantasy High this weekend.
Hell yeah. The real question is when we do we start season 2 or do we do Unsleeping City?
That's a question for you, not for me, my man.
I don't know, is the answer.
I want to see how Fantasy High ends first.
That's true, yeah. If it drives me absolutely feral, I may be forced to watch season 2.
They are self-contained, I will give you that already.
Right.
You'll get to the end and be like, that was good. It's up to you. I'm gonna be Oath of Redemption Pally, that would work.
There you go, I've sent them to
Curls.
Curls.
They are cute photos. Oh, that is. I have photos of me and you in real life that look like that. Yeah.
It's amazing how VR chat can perfectly mimic real life. Yeah, let me bring them up on stream.
There is a genre of photos of Blue making, like, excited, like, puppy faces next to someone who is either not paying attention, looking somewhere else, or talking to someone else. There is like a genre of photos like that.
It's so me.
Yeah.
I just love Xie's face as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's Blue, yeah. How it goes. That's how it goes.
Oh god. So this is why like so many people I talk to are just like, oh, that avatar really suits you.
Yeah, it does.
Sometimes I'm like, how can you say that when I'm just a voice? But then you look at screenshots like this and you're like, yeah.
Yeah. Outside of being on desktop, yeah.
The thing
That's
is, even though you were on desktop...
I don't know who that is in the back. They're a non-zero part of this.
Oh, the pink otter, that's a friend of ours called Davis.
It almost is like a meme. Bottom one especially.
I just find it so funny that even though you were on desktop, somehow you still perfectly communicate the correct emotion.
Yeah, that's the face. That's the face that is pulled.
I can't wait to get that avatar customized, but I'm gonna wait for a while. So there you go. I have more photos from last night. I had a very good evening last night.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear it. I was losing my mind trying to get this presentation finished. I had a classic me evening of... I had a classic me day of, like, being absolutely shattered all day, going to bed in the early hours of the morning and being unable to sleep. Like, oh? You got it done? Yeah, me too. There was a solid block of time where I did not think it would be done. But I forgot that, like, I have a pretty good mental mark of, like, how much I need to do for presentations.
Mm-hmm.
This professor specifically. So I'd kind of done exactly as much as I needed to. I timed it. I was like, oh shit, I need to time this. And I timed it this morning. It was exactly on time.
God, I just remembered when I was in uni and I did the big upsie of we had a scheduled presentation day of like, you know, everybody has their set hours, and I overslept and thus was late.
Oh.
So I had the absolute shame of coming up to the door to enter the class, and the door was locked, and I had to knock on the door, and through the glass the lecturer looked at me and just shook his head, and I was like, well, I guess just kill me. Just kill me.
If I had that at college, not at uni. Yeah.
It's like, no, I don't want to be alive anymore.
Yeah. That feel. I know that feel big time. If while I'm gone. Never. Never.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I forgot the last time I was working on this. I got really distracted and didn't make anything.
Oh yeah, your vampire stuff.
Yeah, I was reading it back and I was like, oh yeah, no, I I got distracted midway through and started reading Emote Arthur. Right, yeah. Oh, yep, that was peak me. I hate that you've dangled the possibility of unsleeping Sadie in front of me. Now I'm thinking about it.
I'm just stating the truth. If we finish Fantasy High, do we continue in a more chronological sense or stick to the same series? Though we may have to compete with Spook because I did let him sample Starstruck Odyssey.
Oh.
Because I got Spook the Traveller book for his birthday, which is a space RPG. And then to get the creative juices flowing, I showed him Starstruck, so I was like, I don't know what system it's in, and I don't know anything about it, but it's sci-fi instead of fantasy.
Star Wars 5e.
This will get your brain thinking, and it has. Because episode 1 is
we
on
could watch
YouTube
all
for free.
of that.
So we've seen episode 1. It's pretty great.
Yeah,
and I think he really likes Norman because of how exasperated he is.
Oh my god, we need to watch Starstruck.
Yeah, because I actually know what happens to him because they end on that. They end on that cliffhanger. He has no clue, and I'm just like, oh, this will be interesting.
Yeah, when it's nearly done because I think it's 13 episodes and it's on 11. Oh, last week. Last week's was insane. Starstruck is really good. I will say that. Like it's a lot looser than some of the other some of the other Dimension 20 stuff, and I think for the better. And also it's just like, it's so goofy. That it's so obvious they're just having a fun time.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it still has, like, I think Brennan's putting a conscious effort in, because Brennan's stuff always feels very, structured's not the right word. Maybe it is. Doesn't feel railroady or planned, but it does feel, like, thought out.
Mm-hmm.
And Starstruck somehow manages to retain that feeling while also feeling like at literally any second, anything could happen. Like, there's no framework, because Brennan's settings are pretty, he's a very settings focused DM.
Yes.
Anyone who's even glanced at Dimension 20 knows. So like, Fantasy High and Unsleeping City and like even other shows, there's like especially in Crown of Candy, like there's a kind of logic to it, or things that would be appropriate for the setting, because Starstruck is set in the Starstruck universe and it's sci-fi with like a kind of poppy 50s aesthetic, but also just like madness, insanity.
Mm-hmm.
Anything could happen any second. It doesn't feel like if he was like, you get a message on your holo recorder that says that the planet is going to be nuked in 5 minutes. What do? That wouldn't be that wouldn't be incongruous for the setting. So like, it has that feeling of like a good Brennan campaign of like there's a lot going on here, there's layers, but while also being completely unhinged.
Yeah, that was what Spook said, which I thought was really cool, considering that he hasn't really watched any Fantasy High. He was sitting there watching Brennan, and he literally said, "You can tell this guy is a good, experienced DM."
Oh yeah, I think honestly, anyone watching, the first episode of Starstruck is a masterclass. If you run D&D, even if you have no interest in sci-fi or any intention to watch the rest of Starstruck, you should watch the first episode of Starstruck.
As someone who is not into sci-fi, I was really enjoying it.
Yeah, it is like, I think, the best executed first session of a campaign I have ever seen.
Which is wild because, again, me and Spook were talking about this, as I said, it's a hot start, which is why he was like, you can tell this guy's experience, because he was like, I've never tried a hot start, and I would love to. And
there's Brennan, for reference. He says in the adventuring party, it's the first time he's ever done it.
Yeah, and he's just so confident to just immediately, like, you know, obviously they do the character intros, but that doesn't start until like 20 minutes in. It's just immediately, hi, welcome to new campaign, we're in combat, go.
All initiative, please. Yeah.
It's like whoa, so much is happening.
Never done that before, and Brennan's never done that before, but Brennan was like, no, it's like, that's the sci-fi thing to do. What did Murph compare it to? It's like the beginning of Star Wars. You know, we're immediately in a space battle.
It's
you
true.
know, like, he manages to the way he does character intros is so good in that session.
That one was really good.
He doesn't normally do this, I will say. Like, the way he does intros in that episode of Starstruck is that he does like a little flashback to like the defining moment, basically, of them, and basically gives their backstory in the opening session.
Yeah, and it's done almost like through a role play.
It's dope.
It's like a flashback role play. And because it's a flashback, obviously, the characters canonically don't know it.
Like, it lets people at the table immediately be like, oh, that's the vibe of that character. And, like, without spoiling anything, it lets characters at the table decide how much they would know about each other without having to hash it out. Like, it gets the, like, oh, we've been friends for a long time vibe straight away. Because, you know, like, two characters could be like, oh, I would know that part of your backstory because we're really close friends, but, like, other people in the crew might not know that. So it lets them kind of establish friend dynamics by how much they know about each other from the first session. It's so good. Highly, the first session of pretty much every Dimension 20 campaign. Actually, I think as of this moment, every session of every Dimension 20 campaign is on YouTube, so you can watch it for free on the internet. You should. It will make you a better DM, I think.
Like I said this,
it has to be a good DM as well because he runs for that table.
Yeah, I mean, I said this before, freaking 5 years ago when everybody started watching Critical Role for the first time. I was like, there was a marked improvement in everybody's, not even the DM, like players as well, marked improvement in everyone's behavior. That can only get better when you open yourself to more sources. Yeah,
100%. I sometimes deliberately will seek out the DMs because I feel like when I'm DMing, the more DMing styles that I've seen, even if I don't like them, I feel like I learned something from the way they run. Like, I'm kind of a mesh of all the DMs I've ever seen. So I will, like, watch. I love mini campaigns for that reason. Like, Battle for Beyond's really good because it's just like a little snippet of that DM and that DM and that DM. Like, if you put yourself over one DM, that's fine, but like, you discover so many good ways. Like, the things that are your DM weaknesses, there's a DM who also struggles with that, who's found a way to deal with it. And you just have to find them. I've learned so many things from Brennan and Matt, and honestly, like Abria, just watching them run. Like, oh, that's an interesting way to do that. And honestly, some of the things I've got the highest comments for as a DM. Been like, it's a thing I nicked from someone else. Much like writing, all good DMing is plagiarism.
I think I even said at one point a while ago when someone was like, how do you do like stuff like this and stuff like this? How do you just get into it? And I was like, honestly, a small part of it is semi-role-playing as one of these DMs that I've watched. Just sort of thinking like, okay, I'm just trying to be them right now and how they would do it.
How would this DM run this scene? Because I like the way they run these scenes. Yeah. And there are things in, like, even keeping Brennan as an example, the way Brennan runs some combats, I would be like, I would never ever do that to myself as a DM. I know that now. I'm not gonna stumble into it. There are fights that Brennan runs where I'm like, I will never run a fight like this because I would rather die. But I know that now.
Which is important.
It's very important. We'll run into some of them. But and you like, oh god, how do I talk about this without spoiling anything? It's also, I will say, very, like, one of the greatest things is watching DMs fuck up. Professional DMs. And how they handle. I mean, I can talk about the first episode of Fantasy High, right? Like, yeah,
it's on like YouTube. People can watch it.
First episode of Fantasy High ends badly. Like, from a DMing perspective, the first session of the second session, of Fantasy High goes really badly. The way Brennan handles that is really interesting. You learn a lot from, like, this is clearly not going the way Brennan wanted it to. So, how does he pull up from here? The answer is madness. Pure insanity, a narrative choice that would not be made by any other human being other than Brennan Lee Mulligan.
Oh god, yeah.
Hey, Mr. Gibbons? I'm sorry, what?
What?
Yeah, it's very good.
It's very good.
Oh. Yeah, Fantasy High is the introduction for people for D20 because it's like, there's elements of Brennan's more serious settings, but the humor and goofiness of his less serious settings. Anyway, love DMing. This is my... I love it. I love it so much. I love talking about DMing. I love DMing. It's so much fun DMing last week. Can I say that?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I had a riot. First time I've ever... Repeating content's not right, because I didn't run it the same way, but, like, to build on something I'd tried before. And it was so much fun.
It was really fun. Just, like, fun interactions and establishing things.
It's a good time. Feywild is a good time because it's so fucking weird, but it works by, like, central sort of logic. I can sort of rationalize out, but it means that things like, it's like, here's a cave of naiads and mermaids. It can be fun. So just, it's fun running essentially Mermaid Lagoon from Peter Pan. It's a riot. Especially with such a mixed party as well. Because it was like, Zal was just like straight away like, oh, I get it. Like, I can be mischievous and entertain these people. And then like, Tala's like, I hate it here.
Stop touching
Please
me.
don't drown me. And Thane's like right in the middle, right? Ah, such a good time. Only trying to drown her? Zal's fault. It wasn't me.
I know. Well, it's his fault now because he's got to deal with the smell of wet dog.
Oh. I unexpectedly loved Tala's interaction in that cave, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I did too.
You have good hands. What does that mean? This weird mermaid just holding your hand, just doing this shit. Like, what are you doing? It was a good time. I see, by the way, that you have not done a random Pokemon.
I did do a random Pokemon, I kid you not.
Oh shit!
I was rolled on the randomizer, I've still got the page up.
Just assumed you'd picked one.
Nope, I rolled it on the randomizer and it literally was like, oh, okay.
Very well, if you insist.
If you very much insist.
The randomizer was like, oh, you think you're not drawing Tyler today?
This was baby.
It's a baby. It's just a little baby. Oh no, oh no.
But the sad question is it Tyler or is it Evie?
I love her.
I love her so much.
I'd say it, but I'm finding it hard to watch D&D, no patience. I feel that big time. I've gotten a lot better at being like... This could sound terrible, but like if I get to a point in a D&D show that's lagging, like not as in like internet connection, but like just like a lot of talking between the party or like nothing, they're doing shopping or nothing interesting's happening, I will just like skip forward. I used to be so precious about being like, no, I need to watch everything. It's like, no, I'll just
even from the start, a lot of D&D was background noise for me, so I don't mind too much when there's stuff like that happening, because 9 times out of 10 I'm doing something anyway. Even when I'm watching Fantasy High, as you know, I'm playing games on this.
Yeah, you play Pokemon.
So it's literally always just been, you know, I'm half listening anyway. So
yeah,
I'm picking up on the plot points.
Yeah, I normally watch, but like if I'm like half paying attention, I use a lot of I can't just listen to things, but I will use audio only bits sometimes. For like sections I'm less interested in, basically. And if it gets to an interesting point, I'll pause it and watch it on the video. Yeah, just using it as background noise. I used to like that with the Dimension 20 was very structured. Combat roleplay.
Mm-hmm.
Every other session, basically. So I used to be like, oh, I don't have to pay attention to combat, and I do pay attention to roleplay. I don't have to concentrate on a whole show. And I realized that I just prefer D&D in general when it's a bit more mixed up. But yeah. I'm more or less always... The thing is, I always have some kind of noise on, so D&D just kind of falls into that category. Not watching D&D, I've got some kind of Twitch streamer on. Can't tell if I hate this setup I've done, whether I just pushed through it. Need to get to the more interesting part. I've been struggling. I guess I don't think it's a writer's block. It's not like a classic writer's block, because it's not that I'm struggling to write, but I'm definitely in like a writer's funk recently.
Mm-hmm.
I'm struggling with my art.
You can always take breaks from it, because obviously you're doing a lot of uni work at the moment.
Yeah, it's not that. I don't know how to talk about it. Go through. I guess this is good to talk about. It's good to be honest about how you feel about your art. I go through periods of really hating being a writer. Because I think it is. I go through periods where I feel like it's just worse than drawing, or like other forms of art.
Aww.
So I just get in these weird funks where I'm like, I don't know what the point of me doing this is.
Well, obviously you know that's not true, but I know that brains
it's
are
nonsense,
very...
but
yeah,
it's just brain nonsense. The same as like drawing funks, you know, it's the same thing with just like, I hate everything I make. It's like, nah, it's just a weird one. It's just weird. I first edit later. It's not editing, it's deciding whether I want to scrap it and start again. Editing's different. That would involve actually working on the material that I've constructed thus far. It's shout out to any fellow writers out there. It's a tough medium to work in, and yeah, I empathize. I definitely empathize. The Zorok's so sad.
Zorua.
Zorua, sorry. Be a Zorok one day.
You better hope not. Because, my god. I do find it amusing that when Legends Arceus came out, it literally was like, tell her it would be like an Absol, and then we saw Hisuian Zorua and we went, oh!
Yeah, 100%. Reason I haven't written poetry in 6 years, it ain't easy, Chief. Yeah, I find poetry can... the extent to which poetry is at least shareable, I think. Like, you know, it... I find it... I think the core of my frustration is when you make big pieces and then you just kind of have to sit with it. That's silly. Same vibe. Yeah, it's, the ultimate thing is that you should make art for you, because you enjoy it. Gotta push through the funks. But I'm in one, is what I'm saying. I'm in one, but I will get through it. I've been through many of them. so many of them. Truly enough. I think the longer you stick to an art, the more ridiculous they seem. It's like I've been writing for like so long now. Like, writing funks don't feel like end of my artistic career as they used to. I'll never write again. It's like, well, I will. Inevitably, I will. All my creative energy is in pop right now. I feel that. I like D&D for that reason. I like DMing for that reason, because it's a creative outlet even when you don't want to make anything, and sharing is implicit in it, so you get to enjoy it with other people always. Like, when I make a session of Okar, I'm making a bunch of art for other people, and that always feels better than trying to make it for yourself. You justify it in your head easier, being like, oh, I'm making this for my friends. Gets it. Yeah, it's one thing. Like, obviously, like, you've got to ultimately, that's the secret, is you have to make it for yourself. It's getting through those bits where you can't see that. It's just things that you have to put through. I've never cared about anyone. I'm liking what I make. That's not the purpose. Has liked anything I've made if they think about it hard enough. Not what I'm here for. Benefit of D&D is the gratification of being like 3 to 7 people who are all hyper invested in this media.
Yes,
that's true.
Yeah, DMing is highly rewarding.
Yeah.
Like don't get me wrong, it's stressful. Like, you worry about it.
It's stressful and hard, yeah.
You worry about it, and like, you want it to be good, and it's not easy, but it's highly satisfying when you come out the end of a session and you're like, oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. I think I've had more moments as well as a DM than in any other type of art I've practiced where I'm like, okay, I can see where I can improve. Improvement, I feel like, is very obvious in D&D because it's collaborative with like at minimum 3 people. So like, it's very easy to be like, oh, I could do better at that, I could have done that better, and then instead of like always going into a kind of rabbit hole about it, you can be like, I can see the way forward from here. You find anyway. No, that one's not universal. I definitely feel, you get funks in it about the same as everything else, but like, feel like it's just more tangible than a lot of art is. It is art. Fight me, people.
You receive no resistance here.
Not here, but like in general, the space, full of the universe. I think I'm gonna do a sneaky BRB.
Yeah, go for it.
I will come back. Oh, I will be back, chat. Behave.
It's just me. Well, let's get on over here and just do the old... Shoop. There we go. My ears are very warm from my headset. So I'm rocking the one ear look again, which you've probably seen me do several times. Yeah, hot ears. go. Okay. Grey fur, which is gonna blend in beautifully with the grey background. Yep, sure does. Okay, so do I A, make content for Pop, or B, try to be Melania, a super hard optional boss in Elden Ring? That's up to you, man. I don't know. Is it stuff that you need to do for Pop, or are you like good for it this week and it's just like extra? Because you know we encourage creative stuff here, but you can always do whatever you feel like. Should be good. If you're not too stressed about it, then you're probably going to be alright. It sounds like you've already convinced yourself. That was not a tough question. You did not need input from me. Hello friend. Gotta make a statement. Oh dear, both of you get out. Both of you get out.
Return.
Welcome back.
Yeah. Returned just in time to see a snowy boy.
East in the snow.
It's out here doing the endurance build. Bigger? I can't remember what it is for unload. Has Tree Sentinel Shield, which reflects spells. Yeah, I think Kay has that. It's very good. Gods cannot stop you. You're gonna find out very quickly whether or not that is true.
Ah yes, FromSoft.
Yep. Demigods all. Ah, yes, you did tell me. What music do I want?
You all know what music I'm listening to?
Yeah.
It's Besso's
whole
new
folder.
album. He's released a new album of Pokemon Lo-Fi and I love it.
Very good.
You should listen to it.
I have a whole folder of various villainous playlists that I'm choosing between. What did I do? I've been listening to Amelia's a lot. I really enjoyed OCOT last week. Good.
Yeah.
Seeing Tyler get the equivalent of a carnival's dunk tank was very endearing.
It's good. It's good stuff.
That's one way to put it. Yeah, it was a fun time. See how this Thursday goes. Got plans, y'all.
Yes, we've had our respite session and now we get serious stuff again.
A few respite sessions, to be fair. You did them. But this Thursday is special. I get to do whatever I want.
Mm.
Me rights this Thursday. We're in trouble. Yeah. Come on for you assholes. It's a joke. To be fair, there's only so much I can dictate. Kills' birthday and respite session separately would be a concern, but they're conjoined like a solar eclipse.
We haven't spoken about Pop yet, or shall we say SK2?
Talk about SK2.
I'm mainly curious what you have to say.
I have to say about SK2.
Yes.
I don't know. We kicked the shit out of Duke's Alto.
Hell yeah.
Slowly but surely.
To be expected, really.
Duke's Alto Part 2? Revengeing?
It definitely was. It was for glory.
Yeah. 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 God knows how Glory feels about it. Proud I made a fight that legitimately challenged a away team party. That's a feat in itself,
It
especially
is.
a party of like 5 people. Is there 5? How many of us are there? There's like 6 of us.
Yeah, I said this during the session, but I feel like we need to fully reiterate how bonkers insane it is whenever Neren's turn comes up and he's asking shit like, what's the nearest body of water? How big is it? How large is this boulder? And he's sitting there just like, if only you weren't a plant. And we're all like, what is happening?
What is happening with you? Every time Naren, like it in kudos to Naren, it's such a different energy from Winnick. With Winnick, it's like I trust Winnick implicitly to be the absolute like sensible one in the party, but the moment Naren flicks that little switch in his brain is like, no, I'm gonna be Roman. I don't know what anything could happen, and I would consider it equally plausible.
Fear.
Hello, Besso. Just
Hello.
talking about you.
Yes, I have been.
Yeah, Roman is a wild ride. We're talking about your new album.
Yes, I'm listening to it. I was telling my whole chat how much I love it.
Yeah. Oh, this is a good song. Yeah. I just saw that.
It's been there the entire time.
Yeah. That's a question for you, Blue. Which one's your fave?
Ooh, it's a tough one. Even though it was released early, I do still really like the new Bark Town. Because it just gives me that sweet gold and silver nostalgia.
Ah, that would be why, yeah.
But to be fair, Lavender Town? Surprising bop. Really digging Lavender Town.
Those are some words. This is my special harmony warm fuzzy fest. That's a Blues aesthetic right there.
Yeah.
School is my fave. Fair. Time to think about geography, yo. Such a mood. Like, there's nothing like D&D. DMing teaches you what your actual, like, weakest understandings of the world is, and mine is definitely geography. Geography and timelines.
See, that's the thing, is that when it came to me, geography is my strong point, because back before I completely failed all my A levels and got kicked out of school, geography was the one thing I was succeeding in.
History was me.
Oh, I dropped history as soon as I could.
Dropped geography.
GCSE level, I was like, history, get the heck out of here.
It was me with geography.
So when D&D comes along, it's like, hey, you gotta track history now, and I'm like, fuck.
Why Blue? When Blue's in my D&D party, Blue asks me questions about, like, what does this natural thing do? And I'm like, no.
I'm still just really satisfied with myself that I was able to casually slip a centrifuge into my blood hunter. My angry chemistry teacher would be so proud, even though I failed their class.
Mood. Oh my god, mood. Geography and history keep me away from maths and languages. I full marked at GCSE level, I got kicked out of college. I full marked English and history. I was very good at English and history. Could not do maths or geography.
Cannot relate. I mean, I couldn't do maths either, but geography. Geography was my good one.
Oh no. To be fair, Best has a point. We had a good teacher though for history. I had a terrible history for geography. Terrible teacher for geography.
See, that's the thing. I think it's probably the same case in that I don't remember ever really getting on with any of my history teachers, but a lot of my favourite teachers were geography teachers.
Yeah, we were talking about this in, I think, Octo stream. We were talking about teachers. It's interesting how that affects your perception of subjects. Which was my best, Dutch was my worst. I was terrible at languages.
I do
not. I've talked about this with my friends before, but my brother speaks like 5 languages, and I cannot speak more than English. I studied German for nearly 5 years, and I still cannot speak it.
I did okay with them, but I struggled when it came to the high tier stuff. Like, I grasped the basics reasonably well, but as soon as we started to get into the noodly bits, my brain fell apart.
Yeah.
Which is kind of how it went with English as well, to be honest. I was thinking about this the other day. I didn't post anything about it, but I was this close to tweeting about it. I just sort of sat here thinking, like, how different would my life have been if I'd actually been able to take drama like I wanted to?
Oh my god. We talked about this as, like, friends before.
Yeah. I was not allowed to. that was where my parents stepped in and they were like, no, you're not taking this as a subject.
Fascinating.
You're not taking this as a subject. And I wanted to.
Yeah.
I wanted to take drama. It's interesting to think, like, the way that I am now is without me having studied drama.
Yeah, I know, right?
So
you kind of didn't need to.
I did? What would I be like if I did, though?
Yeah, for real.
Because the thing is that because one of my annoyances that I had at just regular drama classes before we were allowed to, like, pick our subjects was how, when I was just with regular people, is that nobody else in the class took it seriously. It was a dog lesson for everyone else, but I wanted to take it seriously. So I was like, well, if I went to GCSE...
So drama GCSE is for,
Yeah, so if I went to drama GCSE, I'd be with other students that chose that course and therefore wanted to take it seriously, but I was not allowed to take it. It was forbidden. I was just like, what would my life have been? Who knows, maybe I'd have less anxiety. I would have been more...
I know plenty of people who took drama at school and that's not the case, I'm afraid. True,
but I mean, like, I'd probably be more used to doing stuff on stage and in front of people. Yeah, that's what I mean. On stage and in front of people.
Do we all join a drama troupe? I have terrible news for you about the fact we all play D&D together.
You're gonna learn an amazing thing about Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, you're already there. Yeah, I talked about this with Kay quite a lot. I've always been around drama and theatre. Been in some. I've been in some plays. I was always too nervous and too shy. A lot of my friends did like extracurricular theatre, and I was always too shy. Probably not helped by the fact that for most of my schooling I was more or less non-verbal entirely. So like the idea of speaking in front of people, I was in one place, but I was so much better at stage management and backstage stuff. I was being on stage.
That's the thing, whenever the ISEFA came around every year, the big like competition between the houses that we had, I was always like trying to join up to the drama ones and stuff. But because I guess again partly because I didn't get to take GCSE drama, so I didn't have that sort of confidence. But when GCSE is only sort of the end, in the first few years, of course, being younger, the younger kids always got given lesser roles, and it was basically the GCSE and A-level students that were studying drama would get the lead roles because
the big ones, because
they had been practicing drama all year.
Yeah, that's how it worked for us too.
But I always wanted to try a bigger role.
Yeah.
And never got it, because, yeah.
How it goes. Everyone here really loves this kind of shit, though. It's very much the vibe of the friend group. Me and Kay are perhaps the most extreme.
Right, it is my turn to go AFK. I think
I take 5.
Yeah, I think I fancy myself a cup of tea, and I might also just snip to look.
Do it.
I'll be back, gang. Get entertained while I'm gone.
In Oklahoma. Do you know what's funny? The shows I was in, I did multiple, like, essentially musicals. I was also in choir. I cannot sing. I have no control over my voice at all, really. Like, I find that just hilarious to think back to, of like, why was that a thing? So funny. The things you do at school. Bad at music. Bad at music. But I love music. I'm just bad at music. So I've ever had to do an instrument, Godspeed, not a chance. I attempted to learn 3 instruments at school and I did badly at all 3 of them. I tried to learn piano, which is still like of the instruments is still the one I have some competency in. Can't read music, so that became a hindrance very quickly. Oh god, what was the? I used to play with the cornet. It's basically like a lesser trumpet, but I had really bad asthma at school, so I couldn't not play a brass instrument. Didn't have enough force in my lungs. I wanted to sing, yeah. Yeah, it was wild. Wild time. Yeah, I was at school very much considered I hate this perception, not an art kid. Like I was very much perceived as like, you know, I was really good at English, I was really good at history, but I was put in like, I did a language, you know, humanities basically, but I was kind of pushed away. But I definitely existed in a different space from people who did like art and music and drama and things like that. Partly because at my school there was sort of a perception that those were like, this is shitty, but like less serious subjects. Yeah. Which is, you know, hilarious now that I think about it, but basically the only things I think about these days. I will get back to writing, yo. I got too distracted by our discussion. It's because it's kind of a continuation of a topic that, again, like Octo was talking about in history, and they were talking about like types of teachers and things like that. It was a good discussion. It was a lot of wholesome stories about people with teachers, which is nice, because it's easy to pull out, like everyone's got stories about shitty teachers, but it's nicer to have stories about good teachers. God knows I have a few. Right, I've got to somehow segue this section that I'm writing into the bit that I actually should be writing about. The new album message is so cute. Yeah. Who wants the people to know? I got on with all my teachers, just no one in my peer group. I definitely got on better with teachers than I did with other students. That's for sure. Alright, chat, I'm very sleepy because I've had a very, like, get myself psyched up kind of day, so now I've just, like, all that energy is just fully left me. anxiety come down, yo. It's no joke. I was talking to my I was talking to my friends in class about it. Of like, get through our slot, it would just be like, and now we become as Noodle. Like walking out of the class, and we were all just like, oh god, I'm so tired now. I've just accidentally. Must have this when they write. When I've just referenced something and it's like I can't work out what I've just referenced. Thing. Oh, it's a. That's what it is. Oh my god. I was like, what is this that I've just, because it's just like a series of words. I was like, what is this? Is like a reference to something, and I googled it, and it came up with like something, some kind of documentary I've never heard of, and I was like, it's not that. It's some kind of game thing. What is it? It's a fucking Vampire the Masquerade LARP that I know about. Shout out to anyone who knows what the Night in Question LARP is. Oh my god. That's so on brand for me, that's upsetting. Oh.
Hello, I'm back.
Hello. Welcome back to this nightmare of that I live in.
Hell of your own creation.
Yeah. Just referenced perhaps the most on-brand thing. I just accidentally referenced a Vampire the Masquerade LARP.
Not Vampire the Masquerade, the LARP.
No. Specifically a Vampire the Masquerade LARP.
Oh my god.
Because, look, chat, I watch, this is one of the niche things that I watch. I watch a lot of, like, people doing, like, post-LARP conversations, just like people talking about LARPs they've been to and like the stories they encounter and all this stuff. Blue knows this. Yeah. There's one YouTuber I watch that goes to the Night in Question every year. And I love her videos about it because it's insane. So that's why I thought I was thinking about it.
Right, what are we gonna do? It's 10:30.
What are you gonna draw?
Because we've proven again that time is fake. It's 10:30, so we're going to be stopping in like half an hour. So I think I won't start anything.
Little sketchy boy.
Yeah, I'm feeling what my brain is sort of toying with because we talked about it last week. Is I might sketch out ideas for emotes because we've got a few slots to fill.
Ooh, very nice.
Sort of like thumbnaily things.
Best way to play super happy guy, pisses all the rest of the players. Literally, the girl I'm talking about who did that, like, she's done a couple characters, but the character she played at the last one was literally a hippie, was like a peace-loving hippie. She was the event. They have a thing called the Chosen Survivor, which is basically over the course of this event, every single person dies, apart from one of them, who is the Chosen Survivor, and that was her.
That's so cute.
Yeah, sketch some emotes.
Right, let me just go over to my Twitch and double check. I think we had 5 slots, so we've got loads to play with.
I mean, just start the Sadie one, because we all want a Sadie emote.
This is the thing, we talked about this last week, is that I'm literally torn between do we have a Mimi Sadie emote, or do we just have a picture of Sadie?
Do we have the equivalent of cock stare? That's so hard to say.
Because, I mean...
I feel like if you can come up with an idea for a Mimi Sadie, it's worth doing. But if you can't, a photo will be fine.
Because I have this photo from literally last week of her screaming at me, which I perfectly timed with the shutter.
I feel like that's a great photo, but I think as an emote, the lighting's not right, unfortunately.
That's true.
But you need to capture that exact face. Use that as your reference image.
It's just that, man.
It's the angry brows with Sadie. It's like, it's not just the sound that she makes, it's that she has the general resting expression of just like an elderly woman who's very angry at you.
It's true.
Like I just have that staring at me from my other monitor now. But that's what you've got to capture.
Yeah, I'm looking through my photos now, just being like, what Sadie reference photos have I got? Oh, that's just a sad one. That's from when she was injuring herself. Oh, she looks so... that's such a bad photo of Sadie. She literally looks like one of those cats from like those really sad adverts where it's like,
oh no,
this cat lives on the street. This cat has been living on the street.
I can send you the one photo of Sadie I have, which is of Spook holding her while she sadly wears a comb.
Yeah, I've got this one where like her fur's all bedraggled from her ear medicine, and she's got that horrible scratch that she gave herself.
Oh yeah,
she just literally looks like a runaway cat, except she's been absolutely coddled.
Feral.
She's been coddled for the entirety of her life. Oh, Jesus. I mean, I feel like I'm obligated to share this one with you.
I'm getting these cat photos, chat, not you.
It's so mean. I'm trying to find a reference photo to go off of. So mean.
It's of Sadie trying to eat with a collar on.
She had to have
I think I was there for this, actually.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm like standing in the doorway behind you, losing my mind.
The next photo is her on the airbed, so yeah.
Yeah. I seem to recall this. Child has been locked up by her horrible captors. I need you guys to know when I search in my Google Photos for cat, it just brings up one picture of Matilda and just like this meme. Not the many photos of my actual cat. My 2 cats. 3 cats. Yeah, if I do dog, my dogs appear, including this Final Fantasy dog.
Ooh, this could be a good one. This might be our reference.
Google.
This might be our reference picture.
Oh yeah, that's the one.
Okay, let's copy that. Let's copy that over.
I like that in my like dogs photo on Google. Like, there's plenty of pictures of my actual dogs, and then there's this one. Google, I have bad news for you.
Dog.
Definitely cats.
Dog.
Sure, it's just. I'm just gonna zoom in on Billy there.
Oh god, the full zoom in of the angry Sadie face.
Look at this.
Aww. I didn't realise how big. I didn't realise how big this photo was, so I just pasted it into the chat, and the stream just got this massive close-up of Sadie's angry face.
That's Sadie for people who've never seen Sadie, only heard her.
That's her neutral expression.
That's a neutral expression. Right. You have to show them the first one that you sent me of her meowing. You have to use that one. I'm sorry, it's law.
Fine, let me bring it over. She is screaming at me.
This is Sadie's actual resting cat face.
This is her screaming at me. I literally was rapid firing taking photos. I have almost a stop motion of her turning to look at me and then going,
Meow. That's what you see if you sleep around Blue's house and you awaken your eyes. You open your eyes in the night. That's what you see.
Yeah.
Divine Cat decides your face. She does look like she has a quest for you.
Yeah, the sun is highlighting her perfectly. Right.
This is a cat in a Divinity game that if you talk to them tells you to fuck off.
Yeah. See, the key thing to remember, this is something that I would have to go to Max about, is that Max actually has made art of Sadie.
I have seen it. It's very good.
I could ask Max if I can transform that art into an emote as well.
There's a lot going on in that picture, though.
Yeah,
I
think just the head is probably what I would say. Just the head. Let me find it.
I mean, have you ever tried to draw Sadie before? Maybe this is just worth doing.
Yeah. So what I'm thinking is we have this angry face, and then we'd have the screaming one.
If you have 2 slots, you do a Sadie face and a little bubble that says like "scream."
Yeah, this is the artwork that Max did for me.
Yeah, it's very good if people haven't seen it. I have this saved on my phone, and every so often I see it. It's so funny.
Sadie the Bard, because she goes,
It's the song of Discord that gets me. It's the double pun of that. Oh.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
It's truly art.
Gorgeous.
High art. We're talking about, if you hear us in D&D at any point making jokes about the drunk tabaxi, that's who we're talking about.
Yeah, like, this is the thing of, like, sometimes the noise doesn't carry, or sometimes it carries through on Discord, but it doesn't on stream, and sometimes it does on stream and it doesn't on Discord. So, sometimes people can just hear Sadie going, ow, in the background. Right,
My favourite thing is when I was messing around a lot with audio, when I'm editing sessions of D&D and just in audio track, and like in Discord you're muted or like there's no audio coming through or whatever, but on this, because I'm using the stream audio, this is like I remember from the scene or whatever that there was no sound, but this is just Sadie's constant meowing and you just going shh. Desperately trying to shush her.
That's the thing, when someone is having an intense roleplay bit and she's going off on one, I do try to mute myself to try and not interrupt with her incessant yowling.
It's so funny.
If nothing serious is happening, then I'll just leave it, but when something serious is happening, I have to be like, shh, no, don't stop yowling. This is important.
But obviously, like, I find it on the stream later, and it's so funny. Just a face you inevitably make as well of just like trying to manage it, but it's like you're trying to manage like a child, like an actual child. It's like, no, not right now. I'm busy.
Yeah, I'm just straight up gonna draw over this for expedience.
Have to get the flatness of the top of her head.
So flat.
The true plane that is the top of Sadie's head. And I hate that I have this on both screens now. No matter where I look, Sadie is judging me. To annoy her so much this weekend. So much.
Angry.
So annoyed. I'm gonna occupy like a third of your space.
It's like, how dare you?
My space now, Sadie. But she does get the airbed, which is one of her favorite things.
She does love the airbed a lot.
Specifically, she likes the pillows where I put my pajamas. They must be warm. got jump scared by my own playlist again. No! Have listened to my villainy playlist, and I have some of the Figs Collective songs on here. Nice. Sig Figs Collective is a group of people who pretend to be Figs Band from Fantasy High.
Oh, cool.
Make music based on Dimension 20 shows. So there's 2 Fantasy High albums. There's 2 Unsleeping City albums. And the Unsleeping City albums have songs on for the villains. The one for the season 2 villain scares the shit out of me. Very cool. Very cool people. Frog update.
Ooh.
Oh!
Wow. Yo, those markings. That's cool as heck.
Sick.
Love it.
Very good. Very cool and sick. They only have 3 of their albums on Spotify. Right. Significant Figures album. Oh yeah, damn. I was thinking if the Fantasy High album had season 2 stuff on it, and it does, so I can't even send it to you. Curses.
Hello. Excuse me.
Health check.
Ugh.
Thanks, Danch.
Good night. When I'm sat here drawing Sadie, I just sit here and go, you can see why a lowland Persian is a British short hair.
Yeah, for sure.
Perfectly
For sure.
spherical. So I remember also being the kind of person who was like, what the heck is going on with this? This is so dumb. And then as soon as someone was like, it's a British short hair, I went, oh, okay, I no longer hate it.
Spherical. Spiel.
I feel like I need to. I feel like when I get back to Legends Arceus, because I've taken a break from it for a while, I need to keep an eye out for Spheal outbreaks to try and find a shiny one.
For the meme.
Shiny Spheal.
Spheal. Circles, don't start that shit again.
Now listen in. love the little piano finish at the end of that.
I forgot you're listening to different music than me. I was like, what, in the Gospel Truth too?
Lo-fi Pokemon Center.
Yeah, I can see it on the stream now. Good night, Frog.
Good night, Frog. Sleep well, friend.
Time again where I need a very specific vibe. So I'm just going through all the music I've ever heard. Oh no, I can see that Naren's listening to our blend playlist, and I can see that I have done some damage to it. Whoopsie.
Right. Well, this is the point where I now have to start making changes from the actual image to be more helpful for the emote when it's super small. So I think first is bigger eyes, because they are very small at the moment.
Like tunify it.
Yes.
You could just let us blow them up. That could be a way of dealing with that. Those spies have too many spells in them. You just have pocket nukes, that's fine. Yeah, that makes sense. Essentially having reverse, like, well, it wouldn't even be reverse, just having spell slots for them, essentially. I forgot I put Shrek songs in here. Correct in thinking you still have evocation? Yes. Still have evocation. The problem child of the spires.
I don't know, necromancy's right there.
Necromancy's right there, but it's in the hands of people who can deal with it. The problem with evocation is that it... Necromancy is a problem because it is the kind of, you know, it's the regen engine of the Gith. Evocation is a problem is because if we set it off wrong, it is actually a nuke. It's the quickest way to explode a large area. It has the biggest collateral damage potential of the spires. Conjuration is also a problem child, but I would argue evocation's actually worse.
Yeah, conjuration is basically maybe have a long rest before you set this off because you're suddenly going to have a very large fight to deal with.
Yeah, if we set it off wrong.
Good thing we have multiple people who know banishment at this point.
My god. Sorry, no, not that. For those of you who are in the know, instead of putting evocation, I just put convocation. I hate this. Eva Matthew.
Hello.
I hate myself so much. Okay. Da, da, da. Yeah, the 9th level evocation. Meteor Swarm, Ravenous Void.
No.
Ravenous Void has a range of 1,000 feet.
No.
See, that's the range. What's the area of effect?
Yeah, you need to know what the target is. Is it a?
Yeah, hang on.
Is it a range of 1,000 but single target or what?
Okay, it's only a 20-foot radius. Oh, it's a black hole. Is what this is.
Ah, God of War.
Spell's duration of the sphere and any space within 100 feet of it. Oh, I'm sorry. Got terrain. Non-magical objects fully inside the sphere are immediately destroyed if they aren't worn or carried. Unsecured object within 100 feet of the sphere are slowly pulled towards it. Creature that enters the sphere for the first time on turns, it starts its turn, that takes 5d10 force damage and is restrained. A creature reduced to 0 HP by the spell is annihilated, along with any non-magical items it is wearing or carrying.
Annihilated.
That is the wording.
That's just such a mean word.
It's
Not-
like when the
Not
fine print
destroyed,
on disintegrate.
annihilated.
More to it than that. So yeah, it's 9th level Dunamancy. It's a black hole. But yeah, and the other 9th level evocation is fucking Meteor Swarm. So
Yeah,
well, technically there's 4, but the other 2 are Mass Heal and Power Word Heal.
Yeah,
Which
we're very
doesn't count.
familiar with Meteor Swarm at this point.
Yes. To be fair, if we accidentally set off the evocation Spire and it just did Mass Heal twice at 9th level,
That would be hilarious.
great.
Let's just roll the dice to see what we get. Oh, we got Mass Heal, okay.
Mass Heal or Power Word Heal. we got a 50-50 chance of it being something like area, like wherever we're currently at, we destroy it, or we are very healthy suddenly. Yeah, Mass Heal, 60 feet around you, you restore up to 700 hit points divided as you choose. Creatures healed by the spell are also cured of all diseases and any effect, making them blind or deaf. Do you guys want to roll that?
No.
No, not really. The difference between that and Power Word Heal, do we think? Look. In range, 1. Word Heal's a touch spell. Interesting. Oh,
That's
the target is Benediction. Target regains all its hit points.
Yeah, it's just, you are restored.
If the creature is charmed, frightened, paralyzed, or stunned, the condition ends. If the creature is prone, it can use its reaction to stand up.
Yeah, fully restored, no debuffs.
It's Benediction versus Essential Dignity. It's literally the difference between those two spells.
I know what that means.
It's the Astro Panic button versus the White Mage Panic button. Mage gets Benediction, fully restores HP, no matter what it's at. Astro just gets a beefy heal. More useful the lower HP you are. So it's 50-50 chance. It's good odds. It's good odds for D&D. Odd. You could choose how it was conjured. We just chose to do it as mass heal twice. That's so funny. Never mind, that's just the 9th level. Like, basically, like 8th level.
Yeah.
Vocation's still
that's
really bad.
Yeah, that's if it's maximum juiced out, because obviously we've been playing with ways to like drain them a little bit so they're not as potent.
Yeah. But the thing is, we don't know. The evocation one would actually be a good way to find this out. Whether when they're like use, they get drained or star of the show.
Hello?
We don't know whether they get drained or juiced, basically. So, like, was it having it stuck in a bear? She is.
Look!
It's you!
What is? That?
Do you recognize yourself?
Do you recognize your grumpy face? It's the exact
You
face that
look
you're
like-
making now.
Just so people can see the likeness.
See, this is where I'm now having to deal with Sadie and her problematic fur colouring, because she's very much one of those cats who looks a very different colour depending on the lighting.
Yes. I'd
Like,
say she's mostly grey.
I always lean towards mostly grey, but I've had people throw the words ginger at me before and also brown, and I'm like, I don't agree with either of those.
I mean, do I need to pull Bill up again? Fucking Tomcat.
No.
If I can find a picture of Bill quickly by going to the docs folder. That's a ginger cat.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a fucking tomcat, straight up.
Have you come in here because it is nearly 11, which means it's time for your bedtime snack?
Snack.
Because Mum gives you a bedtime snack before she goes to sleep.
Snack.
Hmm?
I'm just in.
Mm.
The next photo down on my folder. I love Phoebe so much. This is my dumbass dog. You see this?
Oh,
Oh, teeths.
baby.
See that? He's very cute, to be fair. Teeths, yeah, it's just a little. Ah, he's so silly. I miss her. Puppy.
Let me look at your face.
Reference.
Let me look at your face. I need a reference. It's not quite pink, is it? It's pink.
Oh, you're looking at the nose.
The nose. I'm looking at a little snoot.
Snoot.
If I bargain you a chin scratches, you let me look at your nose for a bit. It's not quite pink.
I wouldn't say so.
It's not quite pink. But it's also definitely. I mean, it's 100% not a black nose, but it's not quite pink.
Peach.
But not like peachy, kind of like a slightly mild red. Not that red.
Very desaturated kind of colour.
Yeah.
Almost brown.
Yeah, leaning towards brown.
Oh my god, this song. Song that just came on for me. Oh, fuck. Have you ever seen any of the Swan Princess movies?
No.
No Das knows this song. It's the You Gotta Love It from the Swan Princess. Oh my god. Childhood. Yeah, see, Das knows. How to insult a woman in 3 syllables or less. What else is there? See, Das gets it. Yeah, I'm listening to you. You gotta love it right now. And I forgot how much of an absolute jam this is. There's bopping little JCs in here.
Yeah. I've literally just realised, because the reminder has popped up because it's exactly hit 11, that I'm here trying to sort out a rough colour palette when I've got a late night colour shader on my PC screen at the moment.
Ah.
So none of these colours are correct.
The colours that we're seeing, chat, are not the colours that Blue is seeing.
Yeah, I am seeing different colours to you guys, which is probably why I'm messing around and being like, well, these don't feel right, but when I look at them where they are on, like, the colour picker, they look like they should be right. That would explain it. What if I quickly turn this off for 2 seconds and blind myself?
Just gonna see the lighting on Blue's cam completely change.
Okay, so that is closer than what I was expecting, because I was sort of looking at it and I was like, this looks browner than I thought, but I'm definitely in the grey.
That'd be the yellow tone from
I was
the PC,
like,
yeah.
I'm definitely in the grey section of the colour picker, but it's looking a lot browner. I was like, and then the reminder popped up from the same program, and it's just like, hey, you're gonna
Go to bed.
You should go to bed because it's 11, so you're gonna be waking up in X hours time. And I was like, the colour change, right?
Right, night filters. Maybe that's our call to cut it?
Potentially, yes.
My blue light filter. Girls, damn you. I know exactly. Yep. Sucking into listening to Swan Princess. You're welcome. Crazy thing about it is you gotta love it. Is that I can remember the scene, like frame for frame. I can remember that scene. This is my idea. Have you gone straight to? Oh, no more Mr. Nice Guy. That's a good call.
You are all, once again, sure saying some words.
Just because you didn't see the majesty that was Swan said. To be fair, I have all 3 of them, like, mashed up in my head. Like, there's 3 of them, but in my head they are one movie.
I'm literally, like, dragging Twitch chat over my art screen at the moment so that I can sort of have a little comparison of, like, how zoomed out I need to be. That's not far off the size that it would appear.
I have this song on my... I don't think...
I do have an emote size guide somewhere, which I will obviously need to fish out properly for this. But that sort of zoomed out at the moment of that little one is roughly the sort of size we're looking at.
Right.
Just trying to think, so... Probably have to put in, like, a big cartoony line for the mouth just to really exemplify the frowny face.
Yeah. Okay, should we leave it there?
Yes, we should.
Right, chat, we're gonna go sleep.
Yep, we're gonna go to bed. Anybody who is in the Europe vicinity should do the same.
Yeah. We'll see you probably tomorrow.
Yes, it should be tomorrow for D&D, which should be good.
D&D's.
Should be 8 o'clock, half 8ish our time-ish. I can never remember, but thereabouts.
Something like that.
Thereabouts.
Yeah.
Yeah, thereabouts. And then, of course, we've got our usual art stream in the same slot that it always is. This one.
We'll be far less talking because me and Blue would have hung out all week.
Yes, it will be once again one of those things of we have nothing to talk about because we just saw each other.
Yeah. Right, goodbye,
Okay.
everybody.
Bye, everybody. Love you loads, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Mwah.